If you want to comment on dramatic irony in Twelfth Night, the long central scene of Act 3, Scene 4 is definitely one way you can do so. The comic mood here is not just created by the gulling of Malvolio, but by the fact that Olivia is, of course, just as unaware of Sir Toby and Maria's machinations. Sir Andrew and Viola are also steered towards a duel for the amusement of Sir Toby, who manoeuvres between the two would-be duelists, feeding them with false fears. To add to the chaotic confusion, Antonio turns up, asking who he thinks is Sebastian for the money he lent him. Viola, of course, has no idea who he is. The only ones in the privileged position of knowing what is going on throughout is us, the audience. The interplay between Olivia and Malvolio here is crucial to the comedic effect. As a puritanical figure, what could be more hilarious than not just Malvolio's appearance in cross-gartered yellow stockings and grinning inanely, but his apparent rejection of his normal manner and values? Shakespeare prepares us for this rejection right at the beginning of the scene, when Olivia calls for her servant, saying, "Where's Malvolio? He is sad and civil and suits well for a servant with my fortunes." The staging could be significant here in adding to the comedy. Notice Maria's role in commenting on Malvolio's altered state, leaving the stage, then re-entering with Malvolio like some exhibit to be held up in front of the audience to be mocked. It's almost like as if she's saying, "Look what I've done." She's so pleased with the outcome of her little plan. The absurdity of the miscommunication is what underpins the comedic dialogue here between the two characters, culminating perhaps in the innuendo of the word thrust, as quoted from the letter he's received, and his assumption that when Olivia suggests he might be ill and should go to bed, that she's making a sexual invitation, to which he responds, "To bed? Aye, sweetheart, and I'll come to thee," quoting a line from a popular song, perhaps even singing it. The confusion is also emphasised in this scene by the repeated use of questions or interrogatives. There are 16, I've counted, in the initial conversation between Malvolio and Olivia, almost one every other line. Questions are answered with questions as misunderstanding rules. The comedic feature of subversion is very much evident in this interchange between Olivia and Malvolio. Olivia comments on sad and merry madness, for instance, perhaps recognising that it's not just Malvolio's supposed madness that we witness in the topsy-turvy world of the play, but the unconventional behaviour of so many of the other characters. Her line, "This is very midsummer madness," is a reference to the belief that the intense heat of summer could affect your brain. This reference to the height of summer, associated at the time with life and festivity as well as theatrical performances, even before Shakespeare's time, is the last reference you'd expect to be made in relation to Malvolio. But this is a comedy, a place where the unexpected happens and societal norms are challenged, so who better to humiliate as part of the satirical thrust of the play but a puritanical old misery like Malvolio? Shakespeare is surely taking the opportunity to ridicule a figure who is representative of a group of extreme Protestants who would eventually wield their power by closing all the theatres in 1642. Some people argue that there are lots of features in Twelfth Night of commedia dell'arte, an Italian form of theatre, partly improvised comedy based on set roles. If this is true, Malvolio could be based on one of the vecchi or old men, in particular Il Dottore, the doctor, who is presented as pedantic and a parody of the educated elite. Of course, the irony here is that Malvolio is not upper class at all. He just wishes he were, as seen by his repeated focus on the word greatness when quoting from the letter he believes to have been written by Olivia. So is it Malvolio's pomposity that Shakespeare is mocking here, or his desire to transgress social boundaries in his ambition to raise his status by marrying Olivia? If you're linking this scene with the representation of Malvolio elsewhere in the play, you'll need to consider the ending, of course, and start exploring why Shakespeare apparently punishes him. Why at the end of a comedy, through Malvolio's final line, "I'll be revenged on the whole pack of you," does Shakespeare add a bitter note, along with the imprisonment of the captain? and the melancholy nature of Festo's closing song. What is he saying about comedy, or society, or life themselves?